Hello and welcome to another episode of the Trash Talk Podcast. I'm Gentleman F. Sergej. How are you doing?
Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine myself. And today, we thought, hey, how about we do one of those friendship questions things? And then it turns out that all those don't really have very good questions. And so Sergej whipped us up some better questions and explained the methodology.
Yeah, I just went to ChatGPT.com and typed in, "Can you give me a list of questions for a friend quiz?" It's for two guys that are a bit nerdy. And it gave us 20 of them.
It gave us 20 questions that are enumerated and in the question order, no less. Which I feel like when it comes to numbers is impressive. When it comes to LLMs and numbers. How many R's in strawberry and all that sort of jazz. Not quite the same thing, but...
I think it can do lists pretty well by now, or even back then.
It would stand to reason because lists have always been pretty consistent. The first category is nerdy interest, and it has 6 questions because obviously the best way to split 20 questions is in 6, 6, 5, and 3.
Yes.
That's not even really a complaint. I absolutely could see myself doing that. But the first question is, what is the nerdiest hobby you've ever had?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably programming, honestly. I cannot imagine any other hobby that I've had that is more nerdy than that.
Huh. See, I would have said I play D&D. That's quite nerdy.
Yes, maybe. Kind of tough. I mean, yeah, that as well. If we go along that route, could also be Beat Saber, because that is very specific. It requires you to have a VR headset. No. Well, not anymore, but back then, just be aware that that stuff exists at all, even.
Yeah. Yeah, I get.
And
I can see how that's very specific. For me, I think it has to be the D&D thing. I even used to DM D&D once, which I feel like is a whole other level of learning almost than just playing as a player. Although
sure
I prefer
is
playing as a player, but and I haven't DM'd in a while, which I'm actually not unhappy about. I do occasionally have some ideas for new campaigns and whatnot, but it's always I have a broad idea. Actually turning that into a playable scenario is actually not even always that easy. So
yeah.
Which fictional universe would you most want to live in?
They choose who or where I live in that fictional universe.
That is a very interesting question. I'm going to go
with... it is very important.
I'm going to go with you're not exactly one of the main characters. You're just a regular person.
Yeah, sure, but where on in the universe you are the regular guy.
Well, you're not just going to end up being randomly spawned in space, that much is sure. I was just thinking that in any given fictional universe there's probably space, right? Chances are if you were spawned in a random location in the entire actual universe, you're probably just gonna end up in outer space. No, see, that's an interesting question, and it's really hard to answer, I think, because you probably would have to almost evaluate that on a case-by-case basis, because I don't think there is one heuristic that you can always apply. I could just say, random, just go population distribution and just weigh it by that and then pick randomly where you land.
Mm-hmm.
But even that doesn't feel very very full, because I was thinking okay, I would want something that is better than the real world, right? And Star Trek comes to mind as sort of the stereotypical.
Yeah, I was thinking of Star Trek as well.
And if you are on Earth as a human, good job, right? It's all good. Colonists, colony worlds, that can sometimes be harder. And then non-humans, it also gets more complicated, right? If you're a Klingon or something, that's a whole other culture. But
yeah,
it seems more intuitive to say that you would likely still be a human, but which so I guess you most likely would be on Earth, and that seems fine. I think Mars is also fairly popular, but I mean that's also a very easy distance to overcome. A random colony world, some of those are much less technologically advanced. Some of those are in the neutral zone, which is also a bit spicy then with the Cardassians or the Romulans, depending on where exactly you are. Some of that is a bit rougher, but I can't think of something objectively better than Star Trek right offhand. I guess it also depends when, right? Like Star Trek goes. I mean, if you include time travel, it goes back to the 80s or 90s or whatever. But even if you just like include the main time from the shows, right? It starts with Enterprise, with first contact between humanity and Vulcans. It doesn't start directly with that, but it starts not too long thereafter, up until like later seasons of Discovery in the 32nd century. That is quite the time frame as well.
Yeah.
I would think like the TNG era would probably be the most natural place where you'd want to be. Sometime before the shit went down on Mars, in the backstory.
We could extend the thing even further about like the population density and pick randomly from that. Could spread that across or extend that across time as well.
Yeah.
Just like pick any random human that has like or any, I don't know, intelligent being, whatever, that has existed across time in that universe.
Yeah, it gets very unspecific very quickly because again, like that spans, I think it is around 1,000 years by now. So
okay, that is.
I think Star Trek Enterprise is the 22nd century, and I think Discovery's later seasons are 32nd. It might be 31st, but
I didn't realize it was that like early, the 22nd century. That was like later, 25th, 26th.
Yeah, I believe TNG, Voyager, and DS9 are 24th. TOS is 23rd,
okay.
and then and Enterprise is 22nd, I think. You may talk as well.
Yeah, I I don't know what to talk about. But yeah, if I could choose like all of that while being limited to like not being able to be the main character or like have any extraordinary assets or powers or whatever.
2151
just
to
being
2155 for Enterprise.
That is crazy. Okay, I would probably pick Star Trek. That is the first one that comes to mind. What I could also imagine is like other universes just in fiction that are like very, very close to just present day Earth.
Yeah,
like with like some minor twist to it, where like my life wouldn't really change much.
Yeah, it's like a lot of those like the Batman movies, right? Like the Dark Knight movies. It's like, oh yeah, like if you're outside of Gotham, the world's basically the same place. I mean, okay, League of Assassins exists, but like for the most part, it's very similar. Like the Spider-Man movies, right? It just has Spider-Man and some of his villains. If you're outside of New York, the world is going to be the same. So a lot of those superhero movies where it's just like one superhero are like very grounded and basically the same as reality. But the problem is most settings obviously aren't that great because conflict drives stories. And so having a utopia, every utopia in fiction is always just secretly a dystopia, basically. You just don't know it right away. And so that's pretty rough. And so Star Trek, by virtue of the fact that explorers in space are the main characters, has most of its conflict happening quite a while away from most of the major population centers. And so that is like actually fairly separate from that. And so I think it gets around a lot of those problems of fictional setting necessarily having conflict. Now, granted, conflict doesn't have to necessarily always be violence. It could always just be like political intrigue or just interpersonal conflict even, but there has to be something. I mean, for fuck's sake, you could just say like, oh, I would want to live in the Law and Order universe. And it's like, it's basically the real world, right? Like, some of the individual crimes that, like, basically all of the individual crimes that happen in those episodes didn't happen in the real world. Presumably they happen instead of other crimes, I don't know. But, like, you know, like, it's just most of it just happens in New York, and there's like one fictional university and two fictional sports teams when it comes up, right? It's like, it's basically the real world. But yeah, no, like something like that you could always, like, as a cop-out answer. But yeah, if you want to actually go like something different, I think Star Trek is probably our best bet.
Probably.
Now, if you do want to have a superpower, we do have a next question. If you could have any superpower... Oh, so did you want to say something?
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
If you could have any superpower, but it had to be completely useless in combat, what would it be?
Ooh.
First challenge. If we want to take this very literally, come up with a superpower that is completely useless in combat.
Yes, that is tough. Because even the superpower I sometimes joke about having, being like being able to just like stop a hiccup, would not be completely useless.
Yeah,
in
I
this
mean,
case.
having a hiccup during a fight would be a disadvantage, and being able to stop it would be useful.
Yeah.
I was just like,
so,
what would be really useful in my day-to-day life? And it's like, something that's like I can always just summon a cup of coffee out of thin air, right? Like, it's like, well, yeah, but like, first, I mean, cup itself, obviously, actually, like, a somewhat decent weapon. Like, at least better than punching. Yeah, I finished mine while we're planning the podcast. Yeah. It's still better than punching, and even just like having a warm liquid, like even if it isn't like boiling hot, like to just throw at someone's face, it's gonna be irritating, right? Like it is an advantage, and so I think, I mean, I get what they're saying, right? You don't pick super strength, you don't pick flight, you don't pick laser eyes, but if you take this very literally, and what they're saying, it's a, I mean, someone might have written this question, like a human being might have, the plagiarism machine might have just stolen it, but but yeah, no, if you take this to its logical extreme, it's very hard to come up with a superpower that doesn't have any combat application. I mean, just read any book with like an interesting power system. Or like comics sometimes have characters with very obscure powers, and then like a whole bit will be that like, oh, actually it turns out there is a useful application for this. It might not be like as useful as some other powers, but they do always find one, right? I was just thinking of Mistborn, right? Like, I mean, obviously some of their powers are very obviously useful, but other powers are not like immediately obvious combat powers, and yet, like, all of the characters do benefit from this. I mean, I guess, how about the knowledge storing metal mines? Those I don't think I think those genuinely don't have a combat advantage. Like some of the ones like being able to alter your weight or being able to push yourself around, like, are obviously like useful for movement and whatnot.
Knowledge ones, huh?
Like obviously, if you could know anything right away, then that could be used in combat. But again, like the metal mines in Mistborn, where you can just store knowledge you already have and then later retrieve it without it degrading in between.
I mean, you could like train yourself in self-defense and then store that. So like, if you don't practice it, it doesn't degrade. And then when you need it, you're just like fresh.
I think you're actually better off not storing it.
Probably,
and
but
practicing every now and again.
That's the only way I see.
Yeah, like I think this one genuinely might not have any combat application. But it is really narrow, because as soon as you are like, oh, mind reading, it's like, well, obviously knowing your opponent's next move is super useful. And again, as soon as you can summon something, that could be a weapon. Like, even if it isn't like a traditional weapon, just like if I can summon drops of water from my fingertips and then splash it in my opponent's face, that could be a distraction, right? Like it really is not that easy. If I could hold my breath indefinitely and the fight happened to take us near water, then my opponent can't drown me, right? Like, it's really hard to come up with a power that has absolutely no possible combat application.
Yep. Okay, how about never running out of ink in your pen?
Huh. I mean, if you use
I don't see how you could use
in
that.
combat.
But that doesn't necessitate that you have a pen on you in combat.
Yeah, I mean, things, even if you did
any pen you use, you will never run out of ink.
Yeah, if you're talking like a ballpoint pen or something, like if you're talking about one of those with like the actual ink cartridges, you could probably weaponize those, and if they never get empty, that is a better weapon. But
yeah, or like maybe generalize it in like any writing utensil you use never runs out of like the writing material, whatever it is that it uses.
I feel like a pencil that is always sharp could be a better weapon than a regular pencil that might get dull. Again, right? Like a lot of some of this is like very marginal, but like I believe it said completely useless. Which I was gonna say like knowing the lottery numbers or something like that, but like as soon as like you can actually prove that is a power you have, I wonder if you couldn't just convince people to not beat you up by just telling them lottery numbers.
Yeah. True.
Like, I mean, you could always just pick any superpower you want and just be like, but as soon as I'm in a fight, it doesn't work anymore, as like a caveat, but that seems cheap.
Yeah, let's not do that.
I mean, I do think there's like some version of like limited premonition or something that like just wouldn't be practical in a combat situation. Like even just being like, oh, I could always see exactly 1 year in the future. It's like, are you ever going to be in a fight that lasts longer than a year?
Probably not, but if you do happen to know that like in 1 year I'm going to be in a fight, roughly there, under these circumstances, you could prepare. But then, depending on like what kind of time travel laws you can apply to this, it is then also very iffy to say it's completely useless in combat, because then you could prepare for that combat being not completely useless.
Yeah, again, I think if we want to take this question as seriously as we can, then I think there is just very little possibility in having a correct answer, because we always come up with some edge case of why something has a combat use, which I think could almost be an interesting exercise in its own right. Like, use a superpower, now try how you could use it in combat, how you could make money with it, right? Like, whatever. Like, there's so many conceits where you could be like, this seemingly useless superpower, how do you make the absolute most of it?
Honestly, that might be a good topic for a future.
Yes, probably someone else has to come up with the powers first, because otherwise, as soon as we come up with the powers to write them down for the topic, we're already thinking about how we could use them.
Yes.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT for use of superpowers.
Yes.
Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, that's what
okay, that could work, yeah.
Let me note that down. And
I guess if I wanted to have a competitive use of power, it would probably be something like just like coffee at my fingertips. Right, like something like that, where like again, yes, you could weaponize this a little bit, but I think something like that, or like Sergej said, where like your pencils never stop working, like just like something minor like that would absolutely be a genuinely useful superpower. I think, or just speaking of pens, right, like being able to always pull a pen out of your pocket or something would also be like a very fairly useful superpower. Maybe like pen and paper, where like just being able to take notes whenever. I guess that's what people do with their phones, huh? But like, for someone like me, this would still be useful, right? Like, I feel like there's some of those things that like would not be more than a cool party trick in most circumstances that could genuinely just make your life just a little bit easier. I mean, just imagine the time save if I didn't have to like actually use the coffee machine to make coffee. It just could have coffee, just like that.
Yeah.
Number 4, Star Wars, Star Trek, or I refuse to choose.
Star Trek.
Yep. Number 5, which video game have you sunk the most hours into?
Most likely Minecraft. I don't see any other game getting close to that.
So, according to Steam, I think for me it's Gems of War, which is a Magic 3 game. But the problem is, sometimes I just like forget that I have it on, because it's also not very intensive, so it's not like my computer's like making all sorts of noises, and I'll like tab over to look at something, and then I forget, and it's on for a couple hours. Also, SteamOS doesn't track my Minecraft in hours, which is probably the game I've played for the longest period of my life. Well, especially Minesweeper, but like I've played it on and off for a long time. So while I don't have any statistics for that, I do think it's definitely up there. And out of like any sort of like what people would consider proper video games, it might actually be Minecraft for sure.
Yeah. According to Steam, my top played game on Steam is Factorio. It listed as like just shy of 1,000 hours, but that's also inaccurate because I played it probably 100 hours, maybe more, before it even came on Steam. So yeah.
Let's see, steamcommunity.com. Let me find people. Let me just find myself real quickly. Why am I doing it this way? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I just went on SteamDB.
Oh, that could also work. The Steam people search is case sensitive. I didn't know that.
It is, and it's horrible.
I mean, I could see why for a search function that wouldn't be amazing, but I do actually like that usernames are case sensitive, because as someone who has a username that is case sensitive, games. What? Sign in? What do you mean sign in? Fucking hell. Okay, let's do SteamDB then.
Yeah.
SteamDB.
I'm also. Oh, never mind. I have to click on like a button because they changed the UI of it, and I was confused why I couldn't sort by clicking on the headers of the table.
How do I search SteamDB for people?
You click on calculator at the top, and you have to put in your Steam ID or profile URL.
Yes, I have a very easy profile URL. It's fine. I have a vanity URL, so it's actually easy. I
do as well.
Products. Oh, there it is.
Doesn't have anything to do with my actual nickname or anything.
2,699.5 hours in Gems of War. 2,318.3 in Clicker Heroes, which is literally an idle game. 1,431.9 in Crusaders of Lost Idols, which, believe it or not, is an idle game. Idle Gems of the Forgotten Realms, 920.1 hours. It turns out it's quite easy to rack up time in idle games because the most that you do in this game is nothing.
Yeah.
Also, all of my most played games are free.
Interestingly enough, when I sort by price per hour, Factorio is still on top, Beat Saber is still on second, but the third is a small little puzzle game called Quantum Conundrum, which I do recommend, by the way. But that is fascinating. And only then is Terraria, for example.
Well, I mean, if I go by price by hour, it's just a bunch of nothing because it's a bunch of free games.
Yeah, like I just skipped that.
Slay the Spire! Where I have 351 hours, and it costs $23, assuming I didn't buy it at a discount. Okay, this is misleading. The Walking Dead, which I have 14.6 hours in, but it costs $1.47, which means it's either currently discounted or it's just the first episode. At minus 90%, it's currently discounted at 90%.
Yeah, it probably takes the current price, because Factorio I also bought not for 32 euros, but for...
I mean, that it isn't the price you bought it for makes sense, because they would have to... I guess as long as they know when you bought it, which I don't know if they can know that, then they would also know the price.
Yeah. I don't think they do, and even for Factorio, even Steam doesn't really know, because I bought it before Steam, and I received like a free Steam key.
Oh, right, yeah. I actually got a couple of games through Steam keys as well, so yeah. But yeah, no, it is Slay the Spire, then The Walking Dead, which again is currently discounted, otherwise it wouldn't be that high. The Binding of Isaac, 44.2 hours and it's only $5. Borderlands 2, 169.2 hours and it's $30. That's not counting the DLC, of course. But also I think I bought it discounted. So that is, like, I will say the price per hour is actually kind of useless metric because you don't know what the price is someone actually paid.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a good estimate.
Average price per hour for all games, 3 cents. Oh, because that includes free-to-play games. Okay. Only paid games is 30 cents. Only played games is 1 cent.
Wait, where do you see that? Oh,
It's
only paid
way at the
games. 28 cents.
For paid games?
Oh, only paid games played 16 cents.
Okay, mine is 1, but again, I think it's because I have so many hours of free-to-play games.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Played games. Lowest prices. Played games 206, unplayed games 178, other products 0. Total 384. So if I bought all the games at their very cheapest, that they were on Steam directly, I paid $400 on Steam games. In reality, it's probably more. Granted, I've had my Steam account for like what did it say, 13 years. So it's not actually that much money.
Yeah, I do like though that they have like the button to actually search for the user, get disappointed in your life. It's pretty accurate.
Also, 87.7% of my time on Steam has been spent in free games. Sorry, I think we got a bit distracted here, but yeah, no, it might well be Minecraft because I have played Minecraft for probably as long as I've had a Steam account, if not longer. And it's probably the only game that I've like kept playing somewhat consistently, like from like I used to play more than I do now, but I still play it on occasion, so you know.
Yeah, I don't play anymore. Not really. I do get like the 2 weeks a year where I do just return to Minecraft, play some mod pack for a bit. Don't achieve anything because mod packs are just huge, and quit again.
Yeah, mine is usually like I'll start building a mod pack, and by the time I'm done, I stop playing. Which is a thing that I've done.
Yeah, that is relatable as
well. I guess the next question would be number 6. What is the most obscure fact you know by heart?
I don't know if it's actually the most obscure one, but like it is one that I do know pretty well. Is RFC 1149, which we actually talked about earlier today. That being IP over avian carriers. It's an April Fool's joke about using carrier pigeons to send IP packets, which is a dumb idea. Which is why it's an April Fool's joke.
It's not that much worse than what the Cubans used to do.
Sending individual IP packets, though.
Probably. Yeah, no, they used to.
If you package like a lot of data into one and then send that, sure.
Yeah, they used to do hard drives and CD-ROMs, I think, because they literally, like, the entire country, I think, for a long time didn't have any internet. Because of, like, US sanctions. And so they used to have offline internet where they would, like, smuggle internet content in on, like, hard drives and stuff. It's a really interesting thing. Most obscure fact, I mean, just, like, check the facts of the week. I'm sure there was something in there. What is the most obscure fact that I know? The problem is a lot of the fun facts are, like, actually...
You know by heart. But you can just, like, list off.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is I know a lot of obscure things. I mean, the most obscure things I know are probably just, like, biographical information about myself. Ha! Because there are probably things that no one else knows. Yeah, no, I get that that's not really what the question wants from me. The problem is most of like the fun facts I can think of are commonly cited fun facts, right? So it's like the whole like Abraham Lincoln could have sent a fax to a samurai is an interesting fact, but like people keep saying that, right? So it's not really that obscure, right? Like Cleopatra was closer to the present day than to the building of the pyramids. The Great Pyramid specifically. Like, yeah, sure, right? They were the first Egyptologists were from ancient Egypt, because ancient Egypt exists for that long of a period of time that Egyptology, or at least like historical looking into Egypt's history, was already like a big thing towards the end of ancient Egypt because of just how long the time period was. But like, people say these things on the internet, right? Like, Japan is further north, east, south, and west than Korea, right? Like, I just showed you the map earlier. Like, okay, sure, but like, that is an internet fun fact. People know this.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that, but yeah, sure.
But
in the same sense, like, people know RFC 1149.
Yeah. I just saw a map earlier today as well that I remembered, where it's like 50% of Canadians live south of this line. It's like south of the main border between the US and Canada, because there's so many, because there's like a bit at the end where like it dips down a little bit, and like just that bit already has like more people than all the rest of Canada. But like, a lot of these like geographical fun facts and like those sort of things are like France is the country with the most time zones. I think they have like 20 time zones. I think the number might not be entirely correct, but they have the
ridiculous
most time zones.
The amount of time zones it has.
France has a land border with the Netherlands. How about that? Oh, France's longest border is with Brazil. Right?
France is just like a very weird country when it comes to borders.
There's a lot of that sort of stuff, but again, I think a lot of people know those. Yeah, I
do like I don't know. People know that like what was it? Switzerland invaded Liechtenstein 3 times accidentally in the last 50 years.
I think I only remember the fact being twice, but I might be wrong.
Wait, right. I gotta look at the years again. It might only be 2 times now.
Switzerland also once tried to annex Liechtenstein by sending them a letter, be like, "Hey, don't you want to join us?" And Liechtenstein was like, "Nah." They're like, "Well, okay then." So, you know, like, that's not exactly an act of war, but there is an island, I want to say, between Germany and the Netherlands that changes possession between the countries every half a year. Like a river island, not like an ocean island.
Okay.
I think it was Germany and the Netherlands, I want to say. No one agrees on what the borders of Lake Constance are. I mean, we know where the lake itself ends, of course. No, but I mean, like who owns which parts of Lake Constance? Now, I can't get it straight how exactly it worked. One of the countries says, we just like, it's a third each, right? It's Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. One of the countries says it's a condominium, right? We all collectively own this. And I think and I think the third country is like, oh, we just use the land borders and like extend those until they meet somewhere in the middle, which is not that different from saying it's the third. I think that's how they worked. But like, they just can't agree on it. And there are so many border disputes in Europe that no one cares about because we have open borders between those countries anyways, and so it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Also, I didn't look it up. It is still 3 in the last 50 years.
Okay.
But in slightly more than a year, it will not be 3 anymore.
Oh, wait.
The first of these incidents was on 26th of August, 1976.
I think I have a fact of the week that might not be as well known. A fact that might not be as well known because we talked about it before, but because that's also one that has more recently changed. If I'm not mistaken, Denmark has a land border with Canada.
Yeah.
Hans Island, right? They split it down the middle, if I'm not mistaken.
I have no idea.
I think it was originally your fact of the week when there was this island, I think it's called Hans Island, if I'm not mistaken, where they would like alternatingly like claim the island, and they would like leave a bottle of whiskey there or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And like, yes, I think like 2 or 3 years ago, they like finally came up with a solution, and I think they'd split it down the middle.
Oh, I see.
Which,
yeah, okay.
If I'm right about that, then that means that Denmark and Canada have a land border, which no one would ever suspect.
That's a crazy one, yeah.
if you, I think it's also like a more commonly cited one, but if you go south in Detroit, you end up in Canada.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird border things. It's not hugely surprising. Poland and Lithuania border Russia. Well, I mean, Lithuania does either way, but because Kaliningrad. But again, like some of those, like, oh, there's an ex-slave here. It's like not that fun of a fact in and of itself, I think.
Mm.
Can we do the thing that I just did about Japan, where like Russia is north, west, south, and east of Belarus? Because of Kaliningrad, they're also west.
I think so.
I mean, I guess it also applies to all the Baltics.
Few countries, yeah.
And to Finland. Probably Finland? Actually, I don't know about Finland and Kaliningrad right offhand on the map which one is... But I think it might apply to Finland as well.
I don't think it applies to Finland. Finland has like this weird little thing like above Sweden. This narrow strip.
Also, Åland, right, or whatever, however that's pronounced, is an island that I believe is controlled by Finland, where they speak Swedish. But so maybe not Finland.
That me, yeah.
Oh, I think the north, south, west, east thing might work with Norway and Finland as well, right. Because Norway, I think is east of Finland. As in, because Norway extends, like, has all the coastline up top. I think it goes further east than the easternmost point of Finland. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure at offhand.
I don't think so. No, that does not look right on the map.
South, yeah. But it might have worked for east. It definitely
south, yes.
Maybe I think it's actually supposed to say Sweden, right? Like, it's just Norway extends further south, east, north, and west than Sweden. I think actually, unless there's some islands that I'm forgetting.
South? What?
No, is it not?
No.
See, I shouldn't try to.
I mean, it does all the other directions, but not south.
Not south.
Yeah. Unless there's like some small island that I'm unaware of.
Oh yeah, no, it does not go that far south. Huh? Yeah, I mean, right, because Sweden damn near touches Germany. Yeah, probably not. But it is further. It does extend further east, anyways, which is also not intuitive. But yeah, No, I think it is Finland, right? It is further east than Finland, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, no, I think it works. I think Norway is further... I mean, it's definitely further east, and unless there's an island, I'm thinking it's also further south. That much is pretty intuitive than Finland.
Let's see. This is...
And it's pretty close, I will say.
62.9085.
62.895, 69.625. I
think Finland is still more east.
Wait, is higher number further east? 62.89, 69.6. No, wait, did you say that was? Is that the? Yeah, that is right.
So
no, it's not. That's not south. That's not south. 30.96 and 31.53. Okay, yeah, no, it is slightly.
No, that's. Wait, 30. That's the latitude.
It's
wait,
east-west.
Is it? No.
Dude, just click on two spots in the map that are
I just did.
And just figure it out.
I just did. Never mind. I thought they were the other way.
Because you said the 67 numbers, and I checked those. I was like, that doesn't seem quite right. And then I looked at something else. I was like, no, this is north south. Anyways, the point is, it's really hard to come up with a fun fact on the spot, especially one that people don't know. Which I guess brings us to our next category: friendship stuff.
Ooh.
That almost sounds like something you or I would have written. Friendship stuff. Number 7. But continuing the numbering, what's my most annoying habit? This is, I think, the only one that is actually worded like one of those friendship questions that initially inspired this topic. Where it's like, what is my rather than what is you?
Yeah.
So okay, what is my most annoying habit?
I don't know. I guess just like if you are not stopped, you'll just like continue talking about anything.
I've tried to keep stopping myself sometimes, but it's really hard. That is true. I guess your most annoying habit is probably just being late.
I know.
Just like very consistently.
I try very hard. Even like I don't know, it just never works. Like for the podcasts, for example, I also pretty much always start prepping like 2 hours before. Just like doesn't work. Yeah. If I start prepping an hour earlier, I'm still late by about the same amount of time.
I don't know how you manage to take multiple hours to prep for a podcast when I usually don't know. Like I don't know.
Just
like that
it's just bad.
Okay, which of us would survive longer in a zombie apocalypse and why? Depends a little bit on circumstances, but I guess I would purely by virtue of being further from the population center.
Yeah. Although, like, I would have... I think I am more sporty than you are.
Yes, yeah.
And I do have a bicycle, so I would be pretty mobile with that as well.
I too own a bicycle! We talked about this.
When have you last ridden it?
Yeah. No, I mean, I was thinking, like, obviously physically you would be better, but then I thought about, but you live, like, damn near in a city, right?
Close to.
And I live right at the edge of the forest. Like, the population of this general area, like, if we... I was gonna say if we just take the street, that's maybe a little too simplistic, but like there, I'm not... The population's not as centered around where I am than this is where you are. So I am in a better circumstance, probably. I mean, it depends on when the outbreak happens, where we are at that point in time. But I'm more likely, I think...
I don't know. I don't think I really agree with that. Because, like, you also have, like, other villages and, like... towns, rather, not villages. Towns and cities nearby, similar to me. I am just, like, I think closer to, like, one of the really big cities, being Koblenz, than you are to any. But that is behind, like, the Rhine River. So, it's not gonna be easy to cross. But I am, like, currently I'm in, like, a village that doesn't even have 1,000 people living there.
God, do I have to look this up again? I think we have more, but... Okay, maybe I shouldn't have... Nope, we're good. Subdivision 6, yes, thank you. Population 13,000 almost.
Damn, that is a lot.
For the whole municipality.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If you... I don't know if you can... let me actually go to the German Wikipedia, which is maybe more sensible for this particular bit of research. And let's see if they have a breakdown anywhere. Number of buildings by year. Okay, that's interesting. Population by year. Okay, great. Wait, why is this more? Oh, because it's 2019, and the other one was 2024. I think our population is shrinking, which is not that shocking, I suppose. Yeah, our population is shrinking.
I mean, that.
Okay, so
does it make sense?
Core town is about 3K, which is not super helpful because I'm most trying to see what the other parts, in most relevantly the one where I live, have. There's no way we have a actually we do. Huh, we do have a Wikipedia page. Okay. That is 1,517 as of June 2023.
No. Wait, was it 1,500? Yeah, the village I'm in has like less than half of that.
Fair enough.
Yep. Plus, I gotta mention, I do have access to a castle. For fortification. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking if not to get into too much details, but if I was at the mill, I think that would be one of the better locations to try to go through the apocalypse. The problem is I would have to get there first, unless I happen to already be there.
Yes.
And it has running water! And I'm talking about not through the pipes. I mean, also through the pipes, but like, we have running water, and we used to have, it's sadly not functional anymore, but we used to have power generation as well.
Yeah.
Actually, we have solar panels here.
And I think I could get there reasonably well on a bicycle. And I'm actually going to try that next time you guys are there.
So I guess that's a plan, right? Like if some apocalypse is happening, we both head there.
Yep.
I think if we make it there, it's just like it's just chance at that point of who of us survives longer, because that is like a very fortifiable position as well.
Yeah.
And it has water, and if we can do some slight repairs, we might even have electricity. I mean, if we're heading there, we could probably go by car, and we might take our solar panels from here, for example. So we will definitely have electricity.
That's a good point. I should maybe invest in some portable solar panels.
I mean, these ones technically aren't supposed to be portable, but they're also like... They're also not exactly installed on the roof or anything, so yeah.
Okay.
I think we should probably move on to our next question, because we've also been... Jesus Christ, we've gone this longer than I thought we would. You know what, do we want to just split this and make the second topic the second half of these questions?
Yeah, sure. Let's go till 10. So 2 more.
Oh yeah, let's split them in the middle. I was thinking maybe those were longer ones, like Conor, but what was your first impression of me?
I didn't really have that strong impression of you at first. But I do know that you had a very strong impression of me at first, because you've told it a couple times.
This is just like one of those like funny little anecdotes, you know? The way this goes, right? Like, you're sitting at a mutual friend's house, right? You're playing a game of Trivial Pursuit, as you do. And the question that Sergej was supposed to answer is, when was JFK assassinated? Now, naturally, Sergej didn't know that. I, at the time, didn't know the exact date either, but one thing I did know, I knew the year. And what I could conveniently tell Sergej, which I thought was a completely useless hint, right? Because no one would get this. So I was like, more joking than anything. I was like, oh, by the way, it's the same year that Doctor Who originally aired. And Sergej instantly was like, 1963, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna be friends. Like, instantly I was like, oh, it's like this. So yeah, that's
I ended up not getting the question right. I think I was like a couple weeks off or something.
Yeah, I think you guessed December.
Okay. I don't remember.
It's the 22nd of November, by the way, and 23rd of November is when Doctor Who originally aired. It was the next day. They were still covering the assassination in the news. I think it was he shot himself in a second, but I think they took him to hospital. I don't think he died immediately. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But anyways, they were reporting about it. And that's why the premiere of Doctor Who was pushed back by like 20 minutes or something. Maybe not quite 20 minutes, but like, it was pushed back. And that's why it had worse numbers than it should have had. But they reran it the next week before the second episode. So those two events are actually like directly linked historically. Which I didn't even know like all of those details at the time. Quite as detailed. But yeah.
It is quite funny.
And number 10, if you had to describe me... See, these are a little bit more word like the friendship questions. If you had to describe me in 3 words, what would they be? Is this one of those where we just come up with like 3 adjectives, or is this one of those where we like actually like write an actual description, like smart Russian lad, you know? Like, how do we...
I think I was going for like just 3 individual words, not necessarily coherent. Yeah, the first that just comes to mind is just like nerd.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, nerd is definitely like a good one as well for you. I feel like the Russian thing is almost like it depends, right? Like, am I describing to someone like who's like, oh yeah, like we might have vaguely met at some point, like, oh yeah, the guy from Alex's Barbecue, right? Like the Russian one, right? Like that's immediately like, you know, like they have many of those around, right? But like that's a very useful description in this context, but at the same time, like that's not really how those questions normally work, I would think, because it's not really that defining for you. I think it's just more like identifying that it's defining.
Yeah, probably. Although that's also a bit of a fine line in some cases. What else?
Again, I do think some like nerdy Russian men would absolutely work, just by virtue of, you know, like all of those are true. But like I feel like bring like national origin and gender into this is like kind of an easy, obvious shortcut to like not answering the question in the intended sense. I guess programmer would probably be a good one for you as well.
I was also trying to like come up maybe with like a better way to encompass that for you as well. I don't know how much of a like programmer you are. You're more like at least in my view, a general computer person. Like
yeah,
you're more into like all the theoretical stuff than
I
actually
wouldn't say
just
that.
programming.
I just happen to know more about the theoretical stuff. But yeah,
Yeah. Ooh, this is tough.
yeah. At first,
Can we just pretend computer scientists is like a one word?
I mean,
Just
it works in a lot of languages.
Yeah.
It works in German
Just
and
like,
French.
or I can just like say CS. That's fine. Abbreviations are okay, right?
Sure. Yeah, I think the problem is at first I was like, how do I boil a person down into 3 words? And I was like, well, what are actually like 3 distinct things that are worth mentioning? Even it kind of really quickly went the other way. Oh gosh, I almost just like jokingly referring back to a previous question would have said late, but the problem is if I just say like if I just call someone late, oh the late Sergej, then people will think you're dead.
The other kind of late.
So that is the late and great Sergej, by which I mean he's not on time. Yes.
Maybe that's what people meant all along.
I believe the word I was looking for is tardy. At least the Brits would say that way. I don't think the Americans would, but it's got to be close enough.
Yeah, no, it does sound very British, but it works.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't know if I can put is often late into like one word in American English. I don't think it works. Tardy, nerdy programmer. That doesn't sound that distinct, but I guess I'll take it.
Yeah. I think for you, I would just like also put in like intelligent or smart, something along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I said that earlier for you as well, but the thing is, I almost feel like with nerdy, it's almost implied. Like, I know that you don't have to be intelligent to be nerdy, but I feel like there is like a very strong association, right? Where it's like, and programming isn't exactly like a trivial thing either. So like,
it's tough because like all the like defining features, I would say that like are all so closely related.
Yeah, it's that thing where it's like, well, you know, like you said, nerdy, that kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to like build on some of the things you said earlier, you could say something like loud or verbose or something like that. But that
verbose is good, yeah. Although in written, you're very very terse.
yeah, that is true. I'm very good at giving words. I swear to God, it's so weird because, like, I guess that happens, right? Like, some people just are very different over text than they are. Like, because I feel like I'm almost, like, in that sense, the embodiment of the whole, like, you're not done when you have nothing more to add, you're done when you have nothing more to remove, right? It's like, I can get very to the point very easily, but when I'm talking, like, as you said, right, I cannot be stopped. So, it'll necessarily, but like, if I'm writing, I'm almost like, no, that, like, whenever I think of adding something, it's normally like, no, it's superfluous. I don't need to add that. And then it ends up being like very short, but that's not really reflected in speech.
Yeah, unless we add like a ton of pauses for everyone to think. Then you could be very terse in conversation, but it would take much longer than if you just like are very verbose.
Yeah.
Although if you're trying to like actually think of something, not just like convey information that you already know, that might be better to like be very terse and leave a lot of time between like responses.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I do also communicate slightly differently, for example, on camera than off camera, because I try to leave less silence here. Like, you might have noticed sometimes when we talk, like, no one's talking for 5 minutes. Like, that could happen, right? Like, we're thinking of something.
Yes.
But, like, that's not exactly making good content.
Not really. I mean, I was also like a lot worse at this like a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Like I would like you would be talking 90% of the time, but if not more.
I'm still talking like 80% of the time, but yeah.
I don't know. I think I have improved quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's two
especially
things.
In the recent months.
I think it's two things, right? I'm interrupting you, which is really going to prove my point that I'm about to make. I think you have gotten better at it, and also I think I've gotten a little bit better at, like, not always talking over you, like actually leaving gaps when you have something to say. It's a very tough balance to find, because the problem is, right, I think I've used sort of had the opposite problem with Alex, right, where, like, oftentimes I felt like he was talking a lot more than I was. And so I, like, just as I had, like, figured out how to, like, cut in more and, like, how to, like, actually, like, talk more, is right around the time when Alex then left, unrelated, of course, but, and then you became my most common co-host, and it's the exact opposite, where, like, now I have to, like, actually, like, instead of, like, trying to cut in, I have to, like, actually, like, try to take a step back and let you talk more. And there was, like, I have thought about that before, but it's, like, it's basically the worst possible timing. Like, just as I had gotten better at, like, taking up a bigger part of the conversation is when I end up being paired with someone who has that exact same problem, but much worse. And so I have to actually...
Yeah, it was rough. I think it also mostly for me was a lack of confidence.
Okay.
And just like, also just being bad at improv. Just plain and simple. I'm still bad at improv, but I'm more confident.
Just say things. They don't have to be right.
Exactly, right? Just throw something out there.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're just having a chat about an interesting topic, right? I mean, in this case, okay, it's a little bit out of the usual format, but it still is, like, not that unlike it. Which is like...
Yeah, back then I was...
Say what comes to mind.
Like, back then if I didn't know something for, like, a fact, I wouldn't say it out loud.
Yeah.
Especially not on camera.
I think we also gotten a little bit better at... I used to have to, like, very precisely route the podcast topics. Because if you didn't know exactly what angle we were going to take with it, you were like, I don't know what the topic is. So yeah, that has gotten a lot better over time as well. Because I don't often mind just having, like, one keyword as a topic and then we just, like, see where it takes us.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I did say at one point I should probably try this with Hollywood, where, like, Hollywood's also, like, really good at talking about anything. And he literally at one point said, like, oh, we could probably talk about anything. And I was like, we should probably literally just, like, pick out a random word generator and just, like, generate a topic on the fly.
Yeah.
And just see if it actually
might not be the worst idea for us either. Just like Not necessarily to just like go off of it directly, but like to get inspiration for something.
Yeah, no, I mean, there would literally been like we open something on screen or something and we like literally roll them live, and like we don't have any time to plan for it. It's just like, how long can we bullshit about a random topic for? Because like I have opinions about anything, right? Like it's that's not quite true, but like, I feel like if I know something about a topic, I'm probably gonna have thoughts on it. So like, yeah.
Mm. But yeah, that was.
You can add opinionated to the list if you want to.
I guess that works. Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Opinionated, verbose, nerdy.
All three of those are seen as negatives for some people.
Positives by others.
Yeah,
depends on the context.
Yeah, I mean, but better to be hated by some and loved by others than to be like kind of meh by everyone, right? This is what the thing was. I'm sure that's the exact thing that I was thinking of.
I don't know.
Which was the 10th question. So let's now go to our facts of the week. You researched yours for like 3 hours. So what is your fact of the week?
Dude, it was rough. The first one I picked turned out to be like not even a fact. The second one I thought was like a quick, oh yeah, that's a funny thing. It turned out to be a lot more nuanced and a lot of text to read. But it's still the one I actually went for. It's about okay, let me tell how I first started it. It's I heard that apparently naked mole rats have special, designated mole rats that get fat to plug in the holes to the burrow during rainy season so that no water comes in. Apparently, that is not correct. What they do have, though, is they do have like basically 2 separate castes of mole rats. One of them has a lot more of rats in it that go outside, gather stuff. Those are usually quite a bit thinner. The others, they do actually still have roughly the same amount of activity, but it all happens inside the burrow. Those tend to be quite a bit larger. And they do block the burrow, but not during rain. They block it with dirt during rains and like other circumstances. But when they have a predator that comes, they basically form like a group of them that just like, because they're like long creatures, right? Yep. They just like have them side by side, just stacked on top of each other to just like form a wall of like teeth for the attacker. And yeah, that turned out to be the fact. They do not block water out with their bodies, as it turns out.
Yeah, that would probably not be a great experience for the ones doing the blocking either, but sometimes animals do have behaviors where they're not just detrimental to an individual, but are great for the population, and therefore it still is evolutionarily advantageous, and therefore it's a behavior that sticks. So, my fact is about the Roman Empire, of course, naturally. How often do you think about the Roman Empire or whatever that thing was? I only vaguely ever. Anyways,
how often a day do you think about the Roman Empire?
Yeah, like I is that really like that much of a thing?
Not really. It's just a meme.
So, first of all, the Roman Empire apparently like started in 27 BC. Before there was the Roman Republic. That is kind of a relevant thing to what my actual fact of the week is, which is that in 305, so after the empire was 332 years old, I guess, Diocletian and Maximian, the 2 emperors at the time, that's right around when they split into East and West, were the first emperors to resign from their post, to abdicate their thrones, however you want to word that, and just go into retirement. I think there was one that was forced from the throne before then, and almost everyone else had died in office. And the funny line through which I had found this is that apparently, after his retirement, Diocletian was asked to come back as emperor, and he said, if I can find where the quotation marks are, if you could show the cabbage there planted with my own hands to your emperor, he definitely wouldn't dare suggest that I replace the peace and happiness of this place with the storms of never-satisfied greed. Now, I will say, it is sometimes portrayed like he retired to be a humble gardener, where he had like a huge estate. It's not exactly as people picture it, but yeah, he was the first. Him and Maximian retired on the same day, so saying that Diocletian was the first to retire, which is how I first heard it presented, isn't entirely, like, it's not inaccurate exactly, but like, there's two of them. They both retired on the same day. Like, saying that he is the first one to retire while completely ignoring the other guy seems a bit misleading.
Yeah.
But I guess Maximian later did kind of come back, so it's a little less straightforward for him, so I guess I get why Diocletian is the one that people pay attention to more so. But yeah, that is my fact of the week. Which brings us to our halftime show. We're playing the weekly Squirtle. And
hell yeah.
As always, we're starting with Laser. As well as Tonic. We found an N. And also no C's.
Yeah, that is true. I don't think that happens too often.
Well, it happens quite frequently that there's at least one letter that doesn't exist, but the fact that it's specifically the T might not, C might not be that common.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tempted to say A there, but that's at this point it feels like a bit of a stretch because A's are not that rare. If this was like two Y's pointing there, I'd be much more inclined to say that it's definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
T could be one of those.
I do find the T hint interesting, yeah.
Because it's probably not going to be NT something, NT vowel. Well, anti. It's 4 letters, but it does work. Or it could just be NTS as well. So it was an option.
Eins.
Like ants. I mean, the question is.
No, pints, as in like a pint. Pint. Plural.
Yeah.
INTS. That. Oh no, never mind.
No eyes, but yeah, no, like
stuff like this. Yeah.
I was just thinking, like even just being able to say ants means that it's definitely possible, right? Like even if it isn't actually work, or like anti works, therefore it doesn't seem impossible that something with a vowel at the end would also work, right? Like even if it isn't, like manta, right? Like manta ray, sort of a. I mean, again, A can't be in second position. Whoa, actually. We probably want a vowel in second position, right?
Probably, yeah, but that is true. There's not... Ooh. So E's or U's, potentially.
Yeah, more inclined towards E's, generally speaking, but... I mean, I could say cunt. I know that just that some like to some part of the world it's just like your everyday word. To some other parts it's like highly offensive, but like that's just how this goes.
And wouldn't it be like an overlap?
Huh? Between offensive and everyday. I was thinking more like the Australians who like call everyone cunt just as like a thing, and then the Americans get a little bit uptight about words in general. So
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, probability-wise. A-O, if we assume the A is correct, and we're starting an O, generally speaking, not super common.
Yeah, right. We do need an O there.
Yeah, and NTO seems a bit weird, right? Like, mentor is a word, but that is one letter too long.
Bento?
Bento. That also sounds Australian. What are we talking about? What is bento? Who's bento?
What? It's a Japanese word. It's like a prepared meal in one of those food containers.
Has it found its way to English? Is this in the dictionary?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea.
Bento sounds like Australian slang for a Bentley. That's what it sounds like. Oh, he's driving a bento. Oh god, that was not a good accent. No. that wasn't even near Australian. Anyways, whatever. The point is, I mean, you almost want to say mento, right? Because like mentor, memento, right? But like none of those are quite mento.
Yeah.
Wento, rento, tento. Zento, Pento, 5. I don't know. Zento, Dento. Fento. No, I think of Femto. Gento, Hento, Gento, Kendo. Back to Japan. Lento, Yento, Zento, Vento, Bento, Nento, Mento. And then the other option, of course, as we said, was OT, which gives us Wenot, Benot, Renot, Tenot, Zenot, Penot, Denot, Genot, Henot, Genot, Canot, Yenot, Zenot, Venot, Benot, Menot. I mean, this is pronounced like Bino, Mino, right? Like, but like, yeah, I guess maybe TO is better.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
I mean, it could also, of course, be that the O is in first position and the A is false.
Yeah. Then it's like. No, then we'll probably still be T at the end, right? Because then we probably want a. Unless it's OU. Probably not. It's probably T, and then it's like. R. L. Honestly, if it's syllable separation, it could just be anything, right? Like.
Yeah.
Ob. Not. I don't fucking know. Ognet. I don't fucking know. Net. Ornate. Ornate, like hornet without an H.
Yep.
Opnet, Osnet, Opnet, Oddnet, Ovnet, Ognet, Onet, Oinet, Oinet. Like coined, but with a T and without the C, I don't know. Ocknet, Allnet, Oinet, Oxnet, Ovnet, Obnet, Omnet.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the O in first position, actually.
Wait, what were the U options, anyways?
We went through them, didn't really see anything.
Okay.
But we can go again as well.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. I mean, you said bento. That might be a thing. I don't know. What do we have for the first column? Oh, we need an S there still. Great. That's not at all useful. Because it could be just about anywhere. First row needs a T. One of the last two spots, presumably. But if...
Oh yeah, it could be. Wait, how is Abbott spelled?
ABBOT.
Okay.
That fits. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It might be double T. Might be double T. I'm not entirely sure. I guess we should just try something that gives us some sort of useful hint. We might want to try for a U, because of none are in the grid, which is not that rare. Yes. That would help us a lot. And then we could try to see if we could nail down some of the positions a bit more, like trying an O somewhere, maybe. Or trying to see if there's B's in the grid whatsoever, or something like that. We could try something like bound. Okay, maybe not an N
no,
exactly.
That's a bit... also, O is a
in
bit
a tough spot for
badly placed. Yeah.
Yeah. About. The A is a bit awkward because it's either right for one of the hints or it's not telling us anything new. Yeah. U-boat.
Is that an English word?
It is, but it's hyphenated. I'm pretty sure I've heard it. It might, like, submarine is the proper word, and I think it might have mostly been used in reference to, like, Germany in World War II, I think. But I'm pretty sure I have seen this.
Okay, let's see how. Yeah, no, this would work.
If it's a word, if it's a word, I think it's fine. But I just, again, even then, I think it has a hyphen, so I don't think they accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. The only issue I would have with that is it doesn't really give us any, or that many new letters.
B and U.
Oh yeah, right. I somehow forgot that we need the U.
B and U were letters that I kind of wanted to go for because U, I like having all the vowels, and B was one that we currently have in our guesses, and so it would be useful to know if there's at least one in the grid somewhere. So actually, I wasn't that unhappy with the letters. I mean, the A is not amazing, but would have worked. Starting with an because the problem is if you want an O not in second, you'd almost want to start with another vowel. Maybe not.
Wait, let me take a look at
like brood would not be very useful because there's too many O's.
Again.
Broad. Wait, that doesn't have a U in it. I wanted a U. That doesn't help me with that. No, the N is terrible. That's too long. Up. Town is too long. Up. Surely up as a prefix would work, right? Like. What do we have? Uptown, upsell. Like, there's not really a lot of short up words. Huh. That was just an idea. Flout? How do you spell that?
What context?
I'm not thinking about flaunt right now. Flout. I feel like something like that is a. I can't quite exactly define it right now.
It seems vaguely familiar. Okay, let's see.
We could also do clout. Or something that's like definitely a word.
Yeah, no, cloud is a terrible idea. I like flout more.
Okay.
Because C is not
No C's
in
in
the
the grid.
grid.
Yeah, right. I think this is a word. Do we like it? F is new. L. We need an L in the grid. We just know it's on the first row column, so that would actually be somewhat useful to have an L, I guess. O in a new spot. U is completely new. T in a new spot. I think if this is a word, it's a good guess.
Yeah. I was... Wait, what are our hints on S? Oh, not in this.
S, yeah, not in this row or column, but it does exist. So guessing it right now is not optimal.
Yeah. I was trying to make something work with like drum, dumb, stuff like this, but yeah, no. Let's go with this.
Right, because you were going to go for drums or something, yeah.
Yep.
No U's, no F's.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, I mean, that is genuinely not that useless. And we know that L is in one of those two spots.
Yep.
And T is, I guess, not there.
Very restricted.
And in one of those three, which is not super restricted.
Not three. One of the two.
Oh, no, not the bottom right. Right. So it's one of the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for the second column, we do now know the T is for sure where we placed it.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I think that gives us a better hint about the O as well, because now, if it starts with an O, how do we make that work?
Yeah.
We don't have to be O consonant or OE, but I don't think OE is really much of a thing, is it? So O consonant, NT, and then another letter.
Yeah.
A triple consonant with something NT sounds implausible to me. Which makes the E almost certainly correct. Because it cannot be A, O, I, or U anywhere. So then it has to be E if it is definitely a vowel. Which it doesn't have to definitely be a vowel, but it really seems like it is. If it is an E, then the other one is O, and so then we are back to the question of like, what is the first letter? And it could be B. We didn't actually end up testing B. Because blout, I don't think is a word. Or flaub. A boot. Well, no, about. That does actually... That is spelled exactly that way. Never mind. Which I suggested earlier, and then I think we said that the A was bad. Which is why we didn't do that. So, L in one of two spots, T in one of two spots. Nothing much else new. Well, the T is new, yeah, and the L is... Yeah, that's what I said. Those are the two new hints. As far as positives are concerned.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm saying A there, then I might as well just say R there, but that's... tenuous.
I might as well go all out with the E as well. But, yeah.
Even more tenuous. Okay, what do we want to then guess? Is I guess the main question right now, because we're not going to solve much of anything right now. So,
no.
As far as new letters are concerned, maybe B or D, but otherwise I don't think... or M or G. But like none of those are like very high priority. B, I guess, would be the highest if we do think that Bento is indeed a word that we have in here.
B would be great. M, D, G would also be great. But we're not gonna get all of them at the same time.
Gumbo. I just realized, yes, we just said that no use, so that's not actually...
Yeah, true. Unfortunate.
But yeah, no, G, M, and B would have been all in there, which is why I thought of it. And the O would not have even been terrible placement-wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grubs.
Again, the U.
Right, it was an O that one, not the U.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I was gonna say gourds.
So here if we use any vowels, it's better be an E or an A.
I mean, gem.
Oh, as well, I guess.
But I don't think we can build anything out of that because gems is still only 4. That would have had a G and an M, but not the B, which I guess is one of the ones we more so want. O would be useful, but only really if it's at one of the last 2 spots. The problem is that I'm always tempted to start consonant, vowel. Like, that's always like the pattern that I tend to go for. And so then the second letter would have to be a consonant, a vowel, but it could only really be E. At least as far as the column is concerned. In the row, it's T anyways, right? So that we don't even have to really guess anything there. So
Drabs.
What drabs?
Yeah. I don't know. Sounds like a word.
Well, drab is sort of like dreary,
yeah.
sort of downtrodden, but that's an adjective, so drabs wouldn't work.
Okay.
Unless there is a noun or verb that I'm not aware of, but I only know it as an adjective.
I vaguely imagine it as like some sort of cloth that you can put on.
You think of drapes, perhaps?
No, not drapes.
Okay, I mean...
But I don't know.
If this... Well, oops. Drabs. If that is a word, it would
Does
be good,
that...
right? Like, what the A
Probably.
is fine. The R... works. B would be new. S would be in a new spot. D would be new. Sure. It is a word. Fair enough. I'm also not a walking encyclopedia. It's not what I'm thinking of, is it? Thesaurus. Whatever. D.
Yeah.
Not in that row, but in that column. Well, that limits it to 3 spots.
Mm-hmm. The R hint is very interesting in the row.
Yes, it is. That makes it a lot less reasonable to necessarily just put this there categorically. Although it does limit it to these 2 spots for both of them. So it's either this or that, and same goes for the row below. And one of those has to be in last. And probably not both. Words ending in double R are not super common. The only one I can think of right offhand is and it's a bit short.
Also very interesting S hints for the first column.
First column, because now it cannot be at bottom. Could be in second, but it could also has a good shot of being here, which would work with ST. That is actually like... Oh, what do you mean? That sure, that's what you mean.
Exactly that.
Could be in second.
Then potentially even STRE.
Yeah, the problem is it could just well work the other way around. It could be steer.
Or that, yeah. That also works.
I don't think it could be much else, to be honest, because there's not a lot of consonants we could put there, and there aren't any vowels besides
It's true.
E that we could put there, so... Yeah, no, I was saying, like, if it's not R in third,
yeah. No.
Then it's not like we can just put, like, STB or something, right? Like...
Yeah, no, I understand now, yeah.
Still? No, I not allowed and sounds implausible to begin with. No, I think R would be the only one, right? So this one I think has to be R or E. So it's either steer or strew, as you said. Strep, maybe?
I'm not sure if that's a thing.
Strep throat.
It sounds vaguely like one. What?
Strep throat is from an infection. I don't know if just strep as a singular word works, because I think it's an abbreviation.
I think it's a shortening.
Yeah. But if it's common enough in usage, it might still be in the dictionary, though.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. I'm not a walking dictionary, was what I was trying to say earlier. Anyways, what was I?
What is it, Streptococcus or something like this?
I think it might be. Stray with an E? No. Strex, Strev, Streb, Stren, Strem. Yeah, I think it would probably be strew, steer, or strep. If strep is a word.
Yep.
For the purposes of this game. Well, then the question is, how about W as our second to last letter in a word? How do you feel about that? It cannot be followed by an S. So we can't just go like plural or third person verb or something like that. It would have to be...
Yeah, it could be...
I'm not saying it's impossible, but it seems a little...
I mean, you could, like, N's tend to follow after W.
Oh, like strewn. Like. Yeah. Which is not... Yeah. It's too long, obviously, but yeah. Okay, so it does work. Which is... dare I say unfortunate, because it would have been more useful if we could have excluded one of the possibilities. I feel slightly better about steer, but they're pretty even to me. Right, and the other R's.
Yeah, we can leave it open for now.
Yeah. The first column we've used every hint that we have, and so that T hint there doesn't work for the bottom row anyway, so the only thing we have for the bottom row, which is what we are supposed to be guessing right now, bottom row / right column, would be the R's.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess if I said, if I, just for like visualization purposes, it would be this. And if it ends up being strew, then it is... Oh! Wait. It's either... Oh, yeah, if it's true, the R has to be down here. Right? Does it? No, it could be here, right? Could be one there and one there. I think it could be like this.
Yeah.
But then what do you put after the W? R, W... I don't think that works. I don't think we can have an R before or after a W, so I think we do actually have to have...
Yeah, no, I think we can exclude strew.
Yeah, and then that... I think that makes it steer almost by default. Unless it was strep, I guess, but that feels more like a stretch, because I'm not even sure if it is a dictionary word, technically. And then, because we can't have double R's, as we implied, then the other R is here.
Yeah.
How does that
That makes sense.
The T then has to be here. No, wait, here. Because it is not allowed here or there, and we already put the R here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess stret wouldn't have worked anyway, so we're fairly confident that the T is not there anyways. Now what else? I guess we could try to place the D in the second to last column. Not really, huh? Because you'd have to actually like find a spot for it. Like could go here, could go there, and it could go there, and like none of those seem obviously
pretty reasonable,
wrong.
all of them. Yeah.
Oh wait, what do you reckon this letter is? Because I was gonna say, it could be something like words, right? But I mean, besides the fact that I can't add an S, which I just now realized, it could be wordy, I guess, right? The problem then is SW. It seems rough, and when you think about it, there isn't that many letters that you could probably put after S and before E, for O. Why did I say E? I think I was already thinking, well, E can't go here anyways. A?
Yeah.
Unlikely. T?
Ooh.
Not allowed. P? H? C? No C's.
Let's see, no.
M?
But either way, no.
In some very specific cases, maybe. But that M or N maybe can go after N and S in some cases, but it doesn't seem like a normal thing. I would think P and H are probably our best candidates here.
Yeah, H is pretty good.
I was thinking P might be better, but either one definitely works. Oh, horny. Okay. I was gonna say ports, but there's like 2 reasons why that doesn't work. Horny?
I guess.
Do we just want to guess that? I mean, that has 3 new letters. Oh, wait, no, N is new. What do we know what ends? Oh, just the one that we found. Great. My first thought was horns, but that doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really like it as a guess if we want to extract information from it. I do like it as a solution attempt, though.
Alright, so you're saying the O isn't very useful as a guess?
O isn't very useful. I don't really think the R is that useful either. N could be useful, but probably not much. And Y is like probably just like one spot where it can go, really. Well, there's a couple, like, realistically.
We don't know if it's even in the grid, is the other thing, I guess.
Yeah.
I have another word that could work. Theory. We do need an A in this row. We should also still need an L there, which is one of the few ones that we haven't used yet, which would have to be there then, if the A is here.
Yeah, true.
Now, granted, it doesn't have to necessarily be theory. It just occurred to me with TRY that is one that fit. Probably not that much else that would fit if it is T and RY. And wait, D would have to be there. Now that sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Adlin? Audlin. It can't be A, actually. Odlin? Can't be any other vowel. Consonants seem even worse.
Yeah.
But if steer is correct, the L probably has to be there. Which would then the D would follow unless horny is wrong, and this is a D. Now, obviously not horde, probably. But
horde.
Horde with an E.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate this. And then lead goes in like, I don't know, I was gonna say bled, that's too short. We still have the problem that there's not a lot of not a lot of vowels that are allowed in these two spots. As a matter of fact, none. Wait, no, E could be here. E could be here. O could be there. I think is how that works basically. So one of those probably has to be a vowel. I don't think we can both be consonants. So it either have to be something E-led. Which I don't see right offhand. It have to be O something let, which then of course does suggest that your abbot might have been correct. Again, I'm not 100% confident that 1T works, but it might be. In which case it would be owlet? No, the owled. He was owled, as in he turned into an owl, I guess. Orled. Osled. Opaled? Odled? Odled. I'm thinking of ogled, right? Ogled. Because owlet is a word, but it's a small owl, but it was with at least one T and definitely no D's. Occled.
Yeah.
Old. It's not allowed anyways. Oiled. No, we can't spell it. I don't think we can spell oiled with a Y, and I is not allowed. Oxled, ovald, obled, onled, omled. What did I say was ogled?
Yeah.
1G? Ogled? Ogled. Because ogled is 2 Gs, right? Maybe? I don't know.
I'm not sure anymore.
Oh, there are so many things that I'm no longer sure of. A could go not there, either there or there. Huh. Air. Huh. So I think we can solve this from what we have, assuming that at least some of what put in is correct. Which, big assumption. We just need an I, don't we? That doesn't seem right. I'm not even sure if the Brits do spell tiger that way, but it sounds like they might.
They might.
But then our tigre wouldn't quite be conducive to the L situation. Which I guess, wait. Well, LN would probably not work, and L might work, but isn't allowed, and then LR is dubious again. Okay, so this way of ogled. Okay, oh gosh. Yeah, I think putting the I after the T is maybe not as easy as I thought. Putting it here seems possible, and there seems dubious with the SH at the end. So I'm thinking this might be the best spot for the I. Biter? Not allowed. Biper. Bider. Someone who bides their time. Biker. Someone who bikes. Ooh, it just occurred to me. NKL.
Ooh. Yeah, that's rough. Uncle. Wait, no, that's... Yeah, but no C's.
And no use.
Yeah.
But...
Uh...
like endly or something. I don't know. Fucking... That's not a word. And... La. Andly. What else? What else? Oh. No. No U. No E. I? Could even be I. Indl doesn't really make it any better, does it? Jesus Christ, this does not seem to work that well. So maybe it's not here then. But here? Surely not.
Surely not.
Is it just gonna be the way that some Brits pronounce... well, they actually Americans too, right? Yeah. The letter H? Is it just H? Some Brits say H, but H? It's like H. No, that's also rough. So is it here after all? None of this seems good. I don't like the I anywhere.
Wait, how confident are we in the E for the column?
For horde?
Yeah.
I mean... What else would you put there?
Tiara, like an A.
Tiara, okay. Horde up. Yeah, the tiara is not terrible, but like, what do we... Horda. So we have the R because we need it. And we have the O because we kind of need it for the column. We have the H because that was the only kind of options that we had, right? Yeah. I could totally see porta maybe being like a... from like some proper nouns, but like that doesn't really... Even if that is a thing, that doesn't work because we kind of tease here anyway, and we do still need a D somewhere in here. And tiara is not a great guess if it's wrong.
Yep.
So it's kind of atrocious because for the row it gives us very little. For the column it tries A twice. We know we need a T, we just don't know where. It would be great if we could just try and see if steer works or something like that. If that's right, or if ogled is right, or anything of those. Any of those, right? Like.
Yeah.
I guess we could technically see if horda or porta are words. I just don't think they are. Let's try like a
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Hmm.
It's almost certain we've made a mistake somewhere. The question is just where. It's the last thing we did, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's where the mistake happened.
Yeah.
So wait, because the A also has to be here or there. What was this letter anyways? It cannot be A or U or O. So it would almost certainly be E or I. At least if you look at the row. That doesn't work that well either, does it?
And the A is purely
IE doesn't seem that. I think EI is more common in English, so Nila, Nela. I'm really not getting anything particularly useful out of this.
not really, no.
It really feels like something about this column just fundamentally doesn't work. Same kind of goes for this one, at least with what we have in there. Because it's like, this letter, I guess it could be a consonant.
The first column either, like, it also doesn't work. It's not the way we have it.
Abash? Unabashed is a word. I just don't know if just abash is a word.
No, it certainly is.
And then this doesn't have to be an A anymore, but then like, again, right, like what, does this have to be an E for any reason in particular? Only because we liked that answer, right?
Yep.
I'm almost tempted to say let's just guess horde and see if that gets us anything. Because I feel like we're not going to get this just from puzzling it out. Because there are too many mistakes in here, I think. It might just be one, but if it's one, it's at a very crucial spot. If it's multiple, which it probably is, I think they're just like too interdependent. It was horde.
It was horde. Huh. And we also know the R for sure in the last column.
That's useful, but we also know there has to be an H. In the last column. Surely not there.
Yeah.
Surely not. So it would have to be there, right? Surely it's TH.
I think so.
There? Is that a word? There.
Yeah, that looks...
Anneal. Like a leal?
I know a different anneal.
Bash? I guess, is bento one of the more dubious ones that we did? Just by virtue of not necessarily being an English word? But then it can't really be much else, right? Because it can't be a different vowel. So unless the B is fundamentally wrong, which I guess it could be. But if the B is wrong, then the Abbott thing is completely wrong. Because I don't think we can put another word. I don't think we just substitute this B for a different letter.
No. But the other B right next to it is also highly dubious.
Yeah, but it's like, again, right, without any further context, like, of course a lot of this like disappears, but then it's like,
I mean, the T there basically has to be there.
Oh, that yes.
Actually, no, it has to be there. It is confirmed.
Because it's the only place that it can go in the column?
Yep.
Yes. And the H is technically 50-50, and then the E doesn't need to be there, but it's the only letter that makes sense if the H is there. Okay.
Oh, and the S is confirmed in the second to last column, row, as well. Okay.
It needs an E. I mean, we have both of the possible spots that could be an E and being an E, so, you know, that doesn't really... I'm fairly confident about steer. Could be a wash, actually. Does that help?
Maybe. Way.
Wait, I mean, we did have a G there earlier. It just didn't work with a B. Maybe that was the only mistake? That seems like a stretch. Okay, so Abbott felt like a decent thing to put here. Then we had Ogle here. And
I don't think the central column works.
Central column works. Does not work, but angle.
Iger?
Biget? I don't know. Oh, ankle, right? You said it earlier. Biker.
Yep.
An ankle is spelled with a K, unlike uncle, which was a C. I think we're a lot closer than we thought to the right answer. It was mostly this abashed thing that I just randomly threw in there that ended up being wrong. And this letter, which I was going back and forth on all sorts of things, but we kind of had eliminated the K at one point, I think, because it just didn't work with anything we tried.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
I think so as well.
Okay. The words were Abbott, way, ankle, steer, horde, awash, bento, biker, ogled, and there. That was harder than I expected it to be. Okay.
It was.
Brings us to the last 10 questions. I think those are going to be faster than the first 10. What's one inside joke you'll never forget?
Probably the way we, like, the story you told earlier.
Not very funny, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean that it's hard, right? Because like we had some running gags, Alex and I did, most of which made it onto the channel in the early days as well. But like, you know, it has been 5 years.
Not much of an inside joke, huh?
And that's also right. Well, I mean, look at the view counts.
Fair enough.
Also, like, you could have like a community in joke, right? Like that would also work still, like even for like bigger YouTubers. But yeah, no, I don't think there's like I don't think I have a good answer for that. And last question, friendship stuff. Which one of us would accidentally become a meme first?
Ooh.
I want to say you, but I can't really justify it.
My first instinct was to say you because like you do run a YouTube channel, but the view counts are kind of tough for that.
Well, yeah, but like it's suddenly becoming a meme, right? Like randomly video blows up and suddenly like one clip from it becomes a meme or something, but then like the chance of you being in there is at least 30%, right? So
yeah, for me, what speaks for me is that I am relatively active in like a Beat Saber community, and I don't know, I might at some point just like say something weird which gets like clipped out of context, screenshotted out of context or something. I don't know, but
is to just say a bunch of weird stuff so it doesn't stand out.
True.
I mean, I guess for me it's like you becoming a meme would almost be funnier because like I'm very energized sometimes when I talk, and then, like I say stupid shit probably all the time, right? Like hopefully less than not, but yeah, I think that works. But right, so like it's almost not worth memeing any one thing of those, right? Whereas like for you, like if you did actually say something off kilter, it would actually stand out. But that's not really much of a justification. That's just why it would be funnier as a meme to someone who already knows you, right? Like it's not really.
Yeah.
I don't have a good answer to this one either. That's what
really.
That's why I initially was like, let's just split it after question 8, because like I think the later half of the question is weaker. Ridiculous hypotheticals. First question of those is: if you woke up as a Pokemon, which one would you be? Appreciate that they actually put the actual Pokemon.
Yeah.
People always forget that.
They being ChatGPT.
They being people on the internet who ChatGPT stole its ideas from.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I cannot answer this question because I don't really know anything about Pokemon.
See, the best way to answer this question would be if I remembered which the first Pokemon was that ended up in Mystery Dungeon, because you actually, in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you actually have to answer like a bunch of questions, and then you randomly get assigned one of 16 Pokemon, I think. So,
okay,
which is like 1% of all Pokemon. I think it's a little more than that, but so that would actually like at least that would be the closest thing to an actual answer I could give to this question, because like yes, I know Pokemon, right? But like which Pokemon would I be? What kind of a question even is that, right? It's not like a naturally like I'm like a certain Pokemon, right? Like Pokemon are mostly based on animals or random household objects, I guess sometimes. Like I don't know, Pokemon. Kadabra. I don't fucking know.
I mean, then let's just move on.
Would you rather have Wi-Fi everywhere but it's always slightly slow, or only have lightning fast Wi-Fi but for 1 hour a day?
Probably slow Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah, I would think so. The only sort of question around that is wait. Yeah, no, I guess slow Wi-Fi everywhere.
The hypothetical does not include anything about not having options to have other means to access the internet,
like mobile data on phones or Ethernet.
Yep.
I don't use Wi-Fi basically ever, because I have an Ethernet connection, like a wired one, so I'm actually good. Which yes, the slow Wi-Fi everywhere would actually be like a significant upgrade, whereas only 1 hour of Wi-Fi would actually, I guess, still be an upgrade because I don't use Wi-Fi. If you said internet in general, I think we would still pick slow internet all day rather than like only 1 hour, because trying to get all of your online stuff done in 1 hour is rough. It's lightning fast, so like if you want to watch a video, you could just download it instead, right? You could spend the hour downloading stuff to then watch later. But if you say wanted to like record a 2+ hour long podcast, you are in a bit of a tough spot. I mean, I guess we could do it in person, but like that's further away. Or we just talk faster.
Yeah.
And then slow down.
Yes.
I'm sure that'll work great for like Squirtle. Just like think twice as fast. Like just think faster. Easy.
But yeah, also it is only slightly slow.
Yeah.
Apparently.
if you were in an RPG, what would each of our roles/classes be? Now that is an interesting one.
Yes.
I mean, I'm tempted to just say we would both naturally be wizards, but that's kind of a bit of a boring answer. It fits more with you because obviously I feel like the internet has already decided that programming and being a wizard is the same thing. Not in the sense that programming is magic, but in the sense that that wizard magic is basically like programming, and then it's like very systematized, and you have to kind of learn it, and like debugging a spell is kind of annoying. Like that's kind of like there's been a bit of a running gag in like wizard posting and some of those like online communities about this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Wizard posting is so funny.
So so that would make you even more so a natural wizard. But the thing is, if I think about it in D&D terms, I think for both of us, our highest step would probably be int, right? So, like my Constitution score is not very good. My Strength score is not very good. My Dexterity score is probably not that great either. The main thing that saves me from Dexterity, I think, is still my sleight of hand is pretty good, but I guess it's just expertise more so than not even that good. I'm just like I can shuffle cards all right. Okay, so
I suck at it. Always at them in the same order.
And so yeah, right, like, and wisdom, I think my wisdom is okay. And charisma is hard to judge about yourself, I find.
Yeah. So how would we translate Constitution to real world? Like, properly? How to distinguish that from, like, strength?
Constitution
and dexterity
is both about health, I would say, and it's about, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say being in shape. You know, like, doesn't...
Fitness?
What?
Just fitness? How fit you are?
Kind of. I was specifically thinking about, like, long-term, like you could run for a long time, that sort of thing. Like, what's what I'm looking for?
Endurance.
Endurance, yeah, sure, something like that. I think there was a slightly different word I was looking for, but it works. Endurance works.
Stamina?
Sure. Conditioning, right? I don't know. There's a lot of words you could use for this.
Yeah.
I think that sort of thing is constitution. And both like, again, like health, like immune system, like you don't get sick as easily. Just generally like resistance to like you don't have an upset stomach very easily. Like that is one that I would have, right? Like the iron guts kind of thing. More so than other people, I feel I don't really have problems with that. But then health wise, I'm not as good, and then obviously like my constitution, my endurance, my physical fitness I'm very bad at. So that is sort of where I would say I'm pretty low on. And strength is really mostly just like lifting strength. It really is not all that much.
Yeah, that is pretty easy.
Dexterity is, I think, is both something like running speed. I mean, obviously walking speed is a different thing in D&D, but like it's both like how fast you can run, but also like how quick you can react to things to some degree. It is like again like manual dexterity, I think, does go into that a little bit as well. If you look at like how sleight of hand is key to it, right? It doesn't have anything to do with like dodging attacks or like running very fast or anything like that. Whereas acrobatics is more sort of in that. I feel like looking at the skills oftentimes helps you quite a lot to define the traits, but obviously Constitution doesn't have any skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like resistance to poison is sort of the stereotypical thing that it does in game, but like it doesn't really count that much in real life. But also resistance to diseases is in the game as well. And I think holding your breath, for example, I think is also tied to Constitution in game.
Oh yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Huh.
And again, wisdom is more so about intuitions oftentimes. It's not about being wise in the traditional sense. That's actually, a lot of that would actually fall under intelligence because that's more being knowledgeable. But
yeah,
wisdom is about intuition, and sometimes they say like, oh yeah, intelligence is book smart and wisdom is street smart. That's not entirely accurate, but it is a little bit of that, right? Like knowing how to, like, you know, it's good to know things, but it's also good to know when to actually apply that knowledge and when not to. Right? That's sort of more the wisdom thing. That's why you get things like perception and tracking, and those are things that are more wisdom based. And then like actually like knowing nature, if you want to identify a plant, that's more like, I guess if you want to know if it's edible, that's more of a survival, which is wisdom. But if you want to know, like if you want to identify a specific plant or like know where it comes from or something like that, that's more of like a nature check. It's more like book knowledge.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That makes sense. So I guess then I would not really have that high wisdom. Constitution, I still don't know how to judge that for myself. Because some things would make it like in some areas I do have like good constitution if we translate it to that, and in others probably below average.
With the cycling and whatnot, really I think that probably goes towards constitution. I don't know, like I haven't noticed you getting sick a lot, so that seems like a decently good thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like we're trying to talk you to being a barbarian, which I don't think really fits that well. Because you're like, oh, constitution, right? Like, but I think for both of us, logical intelligence would be the best stat, right? Because that is
intelligence.
Both some of the more traditional things that we consider intelligence, but it's also knowledge a lot of times, just like being well read.
Mm-hmm.
In third edition, having a high intelligence means you get to learn more languages. You know, like it's like a very like traditional like academic sort of knowledge intelligence kind of a thing. It's also I think the distinction between knowledge nature and survival is much better than between nature and survival, where it's like, which check do I use? And like when you know the third edition where they're all called knowledge and that pronounces something, the intelligence based ones, it's actually like quite obvious knowledge nature is kind of like knowledge religion, kind of like knowledge history, right? Like those sort of things. I don't know if it's history specific. I think it's called history. Knowledge local, always a weird one. Yeah, right. So I think again into my strongest stat, which makes me naturally a wizard or artificer if we go with like the D&D 5e classes. Now I'm not much of a physical tinkerer, so wizard seems like the most natural fit. But I think it fits even better with you, unless artificer also maybe fits with you better.
No, like I've been trying to get into hardware a bit, but it is a bit tough. Mostly just because I don't really have a use for that yet. I might find more uses for that in like next half year or something, when like for remodeling the house, right? Yeah. Like adding smart features to it. But right now, not really. Well, self-hosted ones. Like, this house will not be connected to the cloud. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, it's just if the LTT videos of Linus trying to smartify his home is anything to go by, it's gonna make you more problems than solutions.
Yeah, no. Like, I mean, basic things. Like, maybe similar thing to you, where you have this on-air sign above your door that you have to manually put on and off.
It needs the batteries desperately. I was turning it on before we started recording. I was like, oh god, you can barely tell it's on.
Yeah, like maybe something similar to that, but like automated.
Yeah,
where you don't have to like go out and turn it on. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of boring to say that we'd both be the same class, but we're also just kind of similar in general in a lot of ways. So
what else could you do with like const and int?
What, con and int?
Yeah.
Well, con is the barbarian stat, but you also kind of want strength for that one. Int is the wizard stat. I mean, again, wizard and artificer I think are the only 5e classes that use int. In Pathfinder, for example, I think you'd also have the alchemist, but that's basically the same as the artificer. It's very similar in some ways and different in other ways. Actually, those I think might care more about con when you get into mutagens, but that's obviously any melee class oftentimes likes having a couple extra hit points, but those are mostly the strength based ones because the dex based ones just get better armor. So it really, like, I think con is not that useful unless you also have strength. Is I think just for most classes, and then int is again in 5e. It really just does boil down to the wizard and the artificer, because the warlock was initially intended to be int based, but players wanted it to be charisma based, and now we have like 3 charisma based casters with the warlock, the sorcerer, and the bard, and one int base one initially, because Artificer was added later. Paladins also, because those are...
One thing that, like, now that you think about it, I think I'm also relatively good with Dex. Just like being pretty flexible in general, and also like and also just like for example, when we painted your shed.
Yeah, I'm getting into tiny spaces is less about being dexterous, almost more about just being thinner than everyone else there.
Yeah, fair, but still.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like stuff like that.
Well, obviously, with Dex, you get options like Rogue, which makes sense. You literally play a Rogue, so I mean, I guess almost like an Arcane Trickster, right? Like a Rogue with a little bit of magic, that sort of thing. It's like Dex and Int.
Yeah, that could work.
Or I guess a Bladesinger Wizard, which is what I'm playing essentially, kind of, sort of. It's more Eldritch Knight than Bladesinger, but which is from the other direction, right? It's a wizard who also does fighting, and it's also more dex based, I think, than strength based. Or at least you can play dex based. Whenever you can play a character dex based rather than strength based, I just tend to do that by default in 5e because dex is so much better of a stat than than strength. Unless you care about carrying capacity, but no one does, so you know. And dex goes towards armor, and it's a better saving throw, and strength goes towards nothing except carrying capacity and like. Oh, jumping, technically, but again, something that most people don't care about.
Yeah. It happens so rarely in most campaigns, I would say.
I think we had a character jump over a gap once. And if you could just learn Blink or something, or whatever, Misty Step or whatever, like, it's just easier. Right? Like, you don't need to actually...
I can remember at least 2 times. Okay. I'm not sure if they're from the same... not campaign, but like the same characters.
I don't know. The point is, you could be a wizard or maybe a rogue. If you're wise enough, you could also be a monk, I guess, but that is doesn't sound like a very natural fit in general. And yes, wisdom. And I guess I'd be a wizard.
Yeah. I think I like the Arcane Trickster that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Seems fun. Probably pick that.
Okay. What's the funniest way I could possibly die in a fantasy novel? And how is that question specific to me or you in that question? Like, isn't that just like, what is the funniest way one could die in a fantasy novel, just in general?
Yes, I think.
I don't think there's anything like personally that would be like super ironic that wouldn't apply to like random person.
No.
Funniest way to die in dying is never inherently funny. It would have to be like a very comedic tone in general. It's usually like, I feel like the funniest are usually when you like pull off something like really convoluted and difficult, and then like right on the last step or right afterwards or something, you just like die. For like I don't know, like stepping on a banana peel or something stupid like that. I don't think there's like an actual good answer here though.
Yeah.
And the
last just skip it.
Ridiculous hypothetical, which is might be the worst. If we had a secret handshake, what sound effect should it have?
I don't really understand the question, honestly.
I guess if we do the secret handshake, then the sound effect starts playing randomly?
We have to perform the sound effect? What's this about?
I don't know. Let's go on to the personal but not too deep, the last category. What's the weirdest food combination you actually like? I'm not good at these because, first of all, I don't think my diet is that weird. Well, my diet is, but that's mostly because it's not as varied as it probably could be. I feel like I don't eat weird things that much. One thing that I have discovered not too long ago that surprised me a little bit was salmon, like smoked salmon, and camembert, or brie, I guess, it's basically the same thing. I think it's more well known internationally. Like just like a soft cheese.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that.
It's not super shocking, but like at first it wasn't intuitive to me, and also I like my camembert generally like older, but it has like a bit of taste, and it actually goes really well with salmon. That surprised me a little bit. That's probably the most out there thing I can think of, and it like again, those are both savory foods. In my mind, those already naturally aren't like that far apart. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I do like just cheese with salmon in general.
Yeah, but again, that's not like it sounds even more generic. I don't know.
Yeah. So, which is why like your thing does not surprise me that much.
Yeah.
One thing that I can think of is like cucumbers and honey.
That's
Doesn't
weird, yeah.
necessarily sound all that great, but I think it's great.
I mean, it just sounds like a honey melon. Like a very watery food with honey-ish taste. Like it doesn't sound that different. Now, granted, I don't like melons so much either, so but it does sound weird when you say it like that, right? It's like some people are like, "Oh yeah, like Nutella and cheese." And I'm like, "What? No, I tried that once. It's not as bad as you think, but it's still not great either."
It sounds pretty great, assuming you like Nutella.
Yeah, I mean, I do, but like, it's a thing where like it's almost like there's just two separate tastes that are happening at the more or less the same time. They don't really combine in any way, and it's not. I'd rather have them separately. Which movie/series could you quote from beginning to end? None.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I get that it's probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but I'm not great at quoting to begin with.
Yeah, I only remember like the rough idea from most things, not the exact words spoken or written.
I think the last question could actually be a great one if you can come up with an answer, but I'm always terrible at coming up with answers on the spot for these kinds of questions. What's the single most you thing that you've ever done? I feel like if you have a good answer for this could be a great question, but again, I'm not very good at these.
I know something like that happened, and it was like even commented on by. But like I don't remember what it was or what context it was in even.
Yeah, I don't know anything from me either right offhand because, like, first of all, I'm not that distinct. Like I'm just a generic nerdy type. Generic. That's what I see went. And yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm sure I've said some things on this podcast that are like very typical, but like, the only thing that I remember being remarked upon that are being very typical of me is like overthinking these kinds of questions, and also not being able to come up on the spot with answers for these specific kind of questions. Where it's like oh, think of one moment from your past. Like no, I can't. I'm not good at that. So it's very disappointing because again, I do think it is a good question in theory. It's just I just don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Which I guess is again very typical of me. Like Hollywood has complained about that before when like these kinds of questions come up. Like I never have an answer for them because it's like oh, like what is like the most fun you've ever had in your life, right? Like I don't know, like questions like it's like, well, I can think of maybe a couple of times when I've had some like standing out levels of fun, but like I don't know, right? Like it's difficult. It's like oh, what is the first thing you remember? It's like I barely remember what I had for lunch yesterday. Which I guess let's just go on to our songs of the week unless you do have an answer for this one.
No, not really.
What is yours? Song of the week.
My song of the week is Macumba by Jean-Pierre Madère or something like that.
So I'm assuming he's French then. So I guess his name would be pronounced Madi.
I think so, yeah. Muddy. Okay. All right.
Sometimes there's this weird thing where it almost feels like you could always just remove the last letter from French, because if it ends in ER, it's pronounced E. But if it had just been MADE, it would probably just be mud.
Yeah.
Listen, right? Like, I can't quite explain how that works. I mean, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't find it amazing or anything, but like I don't find it like super terrible either. I don't think it's necessarily one of the stronger songs you've had, but I guess it's okay.
Yep.
Want to hear my song of the week?
What? Sorry?
I said, do you want to hear my song of the week?
Oh, yes, I do.
My song of the week is Something to Rely On by Mina Richman. I feel like it feels particularly slow coming after your song somehow. But
I mean that's kind of how it usually goes with our two songs of the week. In general, very often at least.
Depends. Yeah.
No, I like the vibe. It might just be the segment that you pull, but I don't like when it's like just like mostly music and then interrupted by like the same phrase over and over.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's a chorus. It's just that sentence twice. The problem is it seemed like the best. I don't like clipping it when it's just like, oh, this segment is very repetitive, and let me clip this one out of all things. But like, it seemed like the most representative in some ways. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I do know the struggle.
Yeah, Mina Richman has a couple of good songs, and this is definitely one of her better ones. I think the dude I've had before, Songs of the Week, were probably better, but that's how that goes. But I discovered her a while ago and quite like her music. I really don't know what much else to say about this. I think that was a proper sentence. And therefore, I guess this episode of Trash Talk Podcast is coming to a close. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you have something to say, then leave a comment. And if you want to see more, select this and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Sergej.
That's it.
That's it.